So first off, I'm going to show a really quick tutorial on how to use iMovie for beginners. I was able to find this easily on YouTube, and I thought it was a pretty good step-by-step, slow video for all of us to kind of watch together, just to understand the basics of iMovie, how to edit your clips, how to add music to your videos, how to add title slides to your videos, really basic, easy things to do in iMovie. I'm going to go ahead and start.
We're going to cover some of the basics in iMovie, and we are going to make our very own short film with a lot of the features that iMovie provides. So let's get going. I am kind of here in this iMovie start screen right here, and you can open it up and get to something similar to this. And we want to create a new movie right there. I am going to create a movie, not a trailer. I like to do the movie. It gives me a bit more customizable options there. And it will bring me into this screen. So we are going to need to import our media, which in this case is 3 videos that I shot. And it is going to tell the story of a man who saw something and it got the better of him, and then he resolved to do better the next time. So I need to get those 3 clips into here, and then this is where our actual movie is going to be made. So if I go to this little arrow up here, I could just click on that, and that will go to my import screen. And I have my files on my computer. So this down here is where all of your files on the computer are going to be. And this is where anything that you may have plugged in will be up here. So I happen to have my iPad plugged in. So if I were to click on here, oh, I have all these things from various movies and things we've shot at school. So if I wanted to import them, I could. One thing that people kind of mess up when they're importing things is that there's this little check thing. If you hide the imported, like it won't be there the second time you come around. So if you're looking for something, don't have that checked. But what I want to do is I want to go to my desktop where my thing is saved. And where is that? Or is it? Maybe it's in downloads actually. There we go. So I'm going to go to downloads and iMovie tutorial. I have 3 videos in there. So I am just going to click these, use Shift to select them all, and I am going to import all of my movies.
Another really easy way to import your footage, I just wanted to add, is when we went over how to upload your videos onto social media, I showed everyone how you can save your video or your footage to your desktop, and then you can drag and drop it into iMovie. So if you don't want to go through the steps of finding your desktop and then uploading, you can also drag and drop your footage into iMovie, which also might be a better option since we went over that in the previous class.
And now you can see that I have 3 clips right here. So I want to take them and I want to put them down. So I am going to, if you click on it, just click on it like that, it'll select the whole thing. You could drag it down. And if you press spacebar, it will play through here. So I'm going to press spacebar.
Oh, my favorite chocolate chip brownies.
Okay, and I could press that little icon right there, or I could press space again, and that will pause it. Now, you can see in the beginning here, there's a lot of stuff that I don't actually need for my movie. So what I can do is I can make that shorter. So let me, if I go right here, you can see those 2 arrows with the little bar in the middle, and if I drag it up here, this will make it shorter. So now if I start it, oh, I dragged it too much, so I need to bring it out this way. Let's try it.
Oh, my
there we go. That's a great start. Now I can go here, and I want to clip it back there too. Good. So I have the first part of my movie. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put all 3 clips down here, and then we'll see some of the things that we could add to make our movie even better.
I'm also going to pop in here. This video does not go over how you can splice your clips, which I'm just going to go over really quickly right now before he goes any further in his tutorial. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. then I can go ahead and Okay, so right now everyone should be able to see a file I have open in iMovie. So this is just a previous program that we've done at Share. It was actually at a Lost Living with NBC. And I have to edit this down a little bit. There are some technical issues, I think. So I have this ready and open in iMovie. So let's say in here, I like everything up until this point, but let's say around here, there were some technical difficulties. There's something I want to cut out here. What you're going to do is on your Mac, you're going to have a button that says Command. It kind of has a little squiggly design next to it. It's on the left-hand side of your space bar. You're going to hold down Command, and you're also going to hold down the B button, so the letter B, and you're going to be able to split that clip into two. So right now, instead of one really long clip, I'm going to have two clips. And then let's say right about here is when the technical difficulties stop. So I just want to cut out this small section. I'm going to once again click Command B. So now I'm going to have three clips. I'm going to have this portion in the beginning that was good. I'm going to have this portion at the end that was good. And then I'm going to have this portion in the middle where maybe there were some technical difficulties. Someone forgot what they wanted to say. We said the wrong thing, etc., that we just want to get rid of. So you're going to make sure this is highlighted in yellow. You're just going to click on it, make sure it's highlighted in yellow, and then click your delete button, and it will be gone. So now that clip in the middle will be gone, and you'll have your two good clips here. Does that make sense to everyone? That sounds good, or does anyone have any questions on that?
I have a question. How would you know if you're just going into iMovie that you need to hit Command B?
Well, you're able to play your clip down here. So if I was playing it here,
educational programs, webinars such as this.
So I can hear now Deb is talking about some sort of educational program or webinar. So I'm able to know that that clip sounds good to me. And if I play it further, I'm able to see, oh, maybe there was a technical issue, maybe Deb's mic cut out or something like that. Then I'd be able to find the area in my video where I could clip, where I could snip it and delete that section out. Does that make sense?
I get that. How did you know it was Command B? I mean, yeah.
I mean, it just kind of, that's one of the shortcuts that comes with iMovie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of getting used to with the program. Sometimes if you have a newer computer, the computer I'm working on right now is a little bit older. The newer computers that have a touch bar, there's a splice button that you can click, but on any older computer that's 2018 or older, you'll have to use Command B to splice those clips and then delete to get rid of them in the timeline.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back to that initial video.
So let's try this one right here.
I'm never going to do that again.
That is the last scene of my movie. Like, do I have to bring that back? And no. So I can, once I get these down here, I can move them around. So I'm just going to get this last scene of my movie ready. Okay. There we go. All right, that's my final scene. And then my middle scene, if I were to like drag it into there, I could, everything, I lost everything. That's, if I go here, this is where my zoom is. So I could zoom in, I could zoom out. Be very careful of zooming way out because it kind of, you can make things really, really long and that gets really annoying. So I will zoom to about there so I can see everything. Move in.
This is a really great tip if you have a lot of different clips or if you have one really long clip. if you want to make sure you're able to see everything in your timeline, this is what that's called down here, a timeline. It's a really good tool to kind of have that zoom in and zoom out. So you're able to see your whole footage. But like he said, you may make some mistakes if you zoom in too much, if you zoom in out too much and you see the clip and it's very short here, you may make some mistakes in editing. So it's really just a personal preference on how much you want to zoom in or zoom out.
And this is my second scene. So let me see where I should start this.
Oh, why did I eat so many of them?
All right, and that will end about there. So again, I'm gonna drag this little clip right there, use my 2 arrows, drag it there. And now I have a pretty good setup for a movie.
My favorite chocolate chip brownies. Oh, why did I eat so many of them? Oh, I'm never gonna do that again. Only apples for me now.
Okay, so it's not exactly Citizen Kane, but it has a semblance of a plot. But what I want to do, I want to add a little bit more to it. Like I need some extra stuff. So I want to have a little intro in the beginning. So what I could do is I could add a title, and it gives you all different kind of options down here. So if you were to kind of click on it, you can preview it, see which one you want. And I will go with this one. And if you drag it down, you can put it in the front, and it will be for 4 seconds. If you want to make it longer, you could just expand it like that or go shorter. And if you were to click on it, then go up here. I will call this movie That's Too Much. Is much capitalized? I don't know. That's too much, man. This is going to bother me. So sorry if I'm grammatically incorrect. That's too much, man. Grammatical, the movie. I want to capitalize much. There we go. Okay, cool. So I have this. So it starts off. And then it goes into there. Now, this, like, it has that black background, and that's okay, but I want something a little fancier. So what we can do is anything we put under here, that will show up under the writing. So if you go to backgrounds, you could choose all these different types of backgrounds, and some are static, just the color, and some are, they'll move, like this little blob thing. You can also get a picture from the internet if you wanted to and use that. So let me put this blob here, put it under there. Sometimes it gets weird, so I'm gonna cut that, drag it in there. Oops. And put it over like that. There we go. For some reason, iMovie can get weird sometimes, and it makes you like put your background first and then the thing you want on top of it. So I should have done that in the other order. So now if I do.
So what you're going to do is you're going to want to pick your background first. I know that might have been a little confusing. You're going to want to pick your background first, whether it's a background that's given to you in iMovie that you're free to use whatever background you'd like, or an image off of the internet like he suggested. And then you're going to do what he did to find the title, and you can fill in whatever you want to be your movie title.
Do it. Cool. And let's say I want to change something about the background. Let's go to the little, you could change, you could put little filters on it, and you could do this. That doesn't look very good, but if you wanted like an old Western look on your video, you could do that. I kind of play with it how you want and get a little. So you got the little telephone. So all of the effects can be done over here, and I think a good way of that, like, is just to kind of experiment around that with yourself, and it's fun.
So up here, he was clicking. I know he didn't really. I don't know if he really clearly stated. There's a 3 little circle image right up here. That's where you'll find your effects, whether it's audio effects, like he was saying. You could make the audio sound different. You could change the colors on your background. You probably won't be using any of the audio effects because you'd want your audio to be clear. But there are tons of options in iMovie for you to choose from. And like he said, it's a really good idea to just kind of give yourself an hour or so to just sit down and fool around with it, see what programs you have on there, kind of get familiar with it. That's really the best way to do it, is to give yourself some time, just see what options you have on iMovie.
I have that, but now I want to add some music in too. So I'm going to go to audio, and I want to go to sound effects, and it gives me all kinds of little sound effects I could do. So actually, I think I'm going to choose that. But if you were to go down to like jingles that has actual music, so, all right, so you can kind of pick what you want. So music is jingles, but I got this ambient effect was pretty good. No, not that one, this one. Yeah, I'm gonna choose that one, and I just take it, and I drag it in. And I wanna make it the length of the clip, so now if I do it. Great. Now, that was good, but one thing that I noticed is that the sound just kind of cuts out, and we really don't want to do that. That's kind of annoying. So I'm going to drag this over to here, so it goes into my movie. But then you can see how it switches from those arrows to these two arrows. If I take those two little arrows and pull it that way, it will fade out. So
I'm going to go back a little bit because I know that was a little bit hard to see.
Arrows to these two arrows. If I take those two little arrows and pull it that way, it will fade out. So now when I do it, kind of goes gradually into it, has that really nice effect. So now between here and here, like I just go from eating way too many chocolate chip brownies to being sick. I'd like to add another little effect in there too. So if I go to transitions, these allow it to cut in between. So if I go into there, put a little transition.
Oh, why did I eat so many of them?
And I can mess around with any of these that I want. And I think that's about it. If you wanted to do some things like, I want to control the volume of this, I could either go like that, change that, but I find that a little tedious sometimes. It's easier to go like that. You could change the volume of each clip. You never want to make it so that like you have to control the volume yourself on the computer. So if I were to, let's see.
Oh, my favorite.
That's pretty good. And then also at the end, if you wanted to add some credits, you could do title, credits, and you could just fill in what you want there. But just experiment around with this, and that's once you are ready, you can share it. I normally just share it as a file. And give it a title. That's too much. Next, where you want to save it, and that will save it as a .mov file or some type of file that you can share with other people, and that is how you can make a movie on iMovie to share with your friends and impress everyone. So
Okay, so what I would suggest is, like we discussed at our previous meeting, is saving your video somewhere that you could really easily find it. So saving it to your desktop, I find, is really easy because it's right there. It's hard to lose. And Dominique asked if I could provide a link to this YouTube video in my email, which I can definitely do. If you guys want to look back at that video, and you can kind of follow along with him if you'd like on your adventure and feeling comfortable with iMovie. YouTube also has a plethora of different videos you can watch. So if you didn't really love that tutorial from him, you can always find other tutorials as well on YouTube. So next, what I'm going to, actually, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
I know that was a bit quick.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
So do you have to have an iPhone to have the iMovie app?
Yeah, so iMovie is a free editing software that comes with all Mac products. So
Mac.
it'll be on your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac, either if it's a laptop or a desktop computer. If you have a PC, you're going to have a different editing software. iMovie isn't going to be compatible with a Windows computer. So we're actually going to go over that now. Kevin, who was able to kind of help Rich out in those mobile video production classes that everyone took as well. He did a really good segment on editing on a PC. So I have his footage from going over editing on a PC that I'm going to show everyone. But I do want to make sure no one has any other iMovie questions before I move on. Okay. Like I said before, the best way to really feel comfortable with any kind of editing software is just take
Amanda?
a look around. Yes, Ivis?
Amanda? Sorry. I just have a question. What if, for instance, you're working on editing it and then you press delete and then you realize, wait a minute, that particular clip was a better match for the new one going into it so that it runs smoother. Once you press delete, that's it, or are you able to go back somewhere and find that?
Yeah, so iMovie is you're able to undo anything that you've done in iMovie. It's kind of like just hitting the uh-oh button. I'm gonna screen share again my iMovie so we can go over that. That's a really great question, actually. So let's say I make a clip here and I delete this and I realize, oh shoot, that wasn't the right clip to delete. You can go right up here to edit. It's going to be right up your iMovie file, edit. You can do undo delete. And then if you realize, oh, well, you know what, actually that was a better clip to take out, you can always do redo delete. But you're always able to go back and hit edit, undo, edit, undo for any step you've done while your iMovie is open. If you've saved your file and closed out iMovie, and then you open it back up and you realize, oh shoot, that clip that I had the last time I was editing, I want it back, you're not going to be able to do that because it's already saved that file for you. So, but if you're in here editing and you realize, oh, I didn't mean to delete that clip, very easily you can do edit, undo.
Might it be in the trash, Amanda? You know, I find a lot of stuff in the trash. In the trash, you know?
Yeah, you can always find certain things in the trash. The thing with this is that I would always recommend having your raw footage available just in case something like that does happen and you can't retrieve it from your trash. Always have your raw footage saved on your desktop in another file, because obviously you're going to be editing from your raw footage in iMovie or your PC editor, but always have a copy of your raw footage somewhere that's easily accessible for you, because mistakes do happen. iMovie does crash. Technology sometimes is not our best friend. So it's always good to have that raw footage available just in case anything happens.
Yeah, that's like when you do photos that then you turn around and you want to edit it. I always make a copy of it just
Yes.
in case I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I keep the original one.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the same thing with this, really. Just you
Thank you,
want to make
Amanda.
sure you've got all your bases covered. But I'll go ahead and start Kevin's walkthrough with editing on a PC. This one's a little bit longer. This is about 20 minutes. This is from, I think, lesson 2 or 3 that we did with Rich and Kevin. So if you want to see the whole lesson where Rich goes over iMovie and Kevin goes over a PC, that is also on Cher's YouTube channel. I can link that in the email that will have this recording. If you want to watch Rich really goes very in depth using iMovie. This was just kind of a quick refresher for everyone. But I can always include that link as well. But I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see this here.
Down to the Windows icon. Now this is for the video editing that comes with all PCs. So go down to the Windows icon. That shows you the programs and applications there. Go down to Video Editor. And you can make shortcuts to that too, or put it down in your I call this the tray down here, or the taskbar, whatever they call it. But you can put, you see I have a lot of stuff down there. You can also drag that down there if you're going to, you can make a shortcut to this. You're saying okay, everyone's good with this, this view? Okay. All right, so again, the other caveat is it's not as sophisticated as iMovie is, that the Macs are. So, but this is fine for I think some of the videos that you guys are producing. I think it's fine. Start a new video project. Click on that. You can name it. Okay. So for today, we'll call it Share Test.
Do you have a way to enlarge your screen at all? Are you full screen right now?
I don't know. How do I do that?
Left.
Sorry, I'm just skipping ahead where there was some conversation.
Okay, so choose where you're, Rich and I sort of, we call it assets or elements, meaning video clips or audio clips or anything like that. There is, I made a folder already on my desktop. You can still see this, right?
Yes.
Okay, assets for share video demo. So I have a bunch of stuff in there, and I'm just going to copy all of those and then say open, and that's going to bring them into, it's going to import them into your project. Okay. So there are some video clips here that I've, again, just pre-selected to make this for the demo. But in this way, it's a little different. As you can see, the whole sort of interface is different from the iMovie world, Mac world. I don't know. Let's say we want to do a title first. So if you go down to this, it says Add Title Card, and there's the title card. Now you can edit that. You click on it. Okay, so you write, did you see I had a...
Sorry, I'm going to enlarge this for everyone. I realize the quality might be a little fuzzy. Is everyone able to see that a little bit bigger? You can give me a thumbs up if it's working for you. Okay, perfect.
Right click on it, and I'm going to edit the text. Stop me if you can't see something or don't understand something, but just for argument's sake, you go up to this upper right, in there, you highlight it, and then say, and let's say we don't want the blue background. So I'll do that, click over here, and then we're going to edit, and it gives me, maybe I want it just white over black, so I have background. And then I can choose a color. You can choose any color you want. Okay. And just say done. All right, so this, you'll see where, like Rich was showing with the progress bar and how you can edit some clips, you can see that there's a duration here of 3 seconds for a title. Okay, and that's where it is right now. I can make that different, but let's, for now, let's just keep it as that. Okay, so if I play this, hit the play, there's a rewind or previous frame, and then a play button. So let me hit that. Okay, so that's how that begins. Now I want to do some, again, these are pre-select or pre-edited, I should say, or kind of clipped out for this purpose. But let's say I want this clip of this woman. You simply drag it and put it next to it.
So that's all the same concept, click, hold, and drag.
Yeah, exactly. I'm click, holding, and dragging into this. And this, they don't call it a timeline in this world. They call it a storyboard. So this is your this is how you play your video over here. If you can see my mouse, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so this is where this, how you can do that. So let's just, for argument's sake at this point, let's play this, see what we have so far.
This is a picture of my graduation from high school.
Okay, so disregard the numbers burnt in, or in with this video. That's just, it was an old clip of video I found. Disregarded, that won't look like that normally. It just happens to be actually part of the video with this woman's interview from a while ago. All right, so she's talking about high school. So I can trim that like Rich was doing before. You can trim this, although it's kind of pre-trimmed. Again, you right click on, and let me just go back a step. As you can see where I'm clicking through these, there's a little blue bar that tells you which one you've clicked. That's the one you're going to affect or trim or edit or anything you want to do. That's how in this particular video editor application on Windows 10 lets you do that. So where the blue bar is highlighted, you right click on it, and then you have a bunch of choices. I'm going to say trim. Okay, so now you can play this.
This is a picture.
Okay, let's just say we wanted to say this is a picture just for trimming sake. So I can drag this in this almost 7-second clip. I can drag that anywhere. Let's keep that where these are the editing piece points, by the way. This is actually where this drags you through the beginning, through the end of the video, or anywhere in between that clip. Keep it there for a second.
This is a picture.
Okay, this is a picture. So I stopped it, and you can use the mouse, or I think, let me just make sure. I think you can use the space bar as well.
This is a picture.
Okay, this is a picture. So say I want that part of the sentence, and we just wanted to trim this first clip to that. You simply grab the end, if you can all see this. You grab this little, and when you hover over it, it says what it is. You drag the end of the trim to the part where you just had her say,
this is a picture.
Okay.
This is a picture.
Okay, so that will, by hitting the space bar again in this program, that will cycle through that. It will continue to play the beginning of the clip and the end of it as you've marked it here. Now I'm going to say done, because that's the new duration. I just wanted to say this is the picture. Okay, so now down here, bring the video back to the beginning. Slide it back with you. I use a mouse a lot and keyboard, but mouse for this. And then I'll play it again.
This is a picture.
Okay. Any questions so far? No?
Does anyone in real time have any questions so far on this? Okay, I'm gonna continue then, but I have the option to unmute yourselves. So if you have a question, you can always unmute yourself and just ask, and then I'll pause the video again.
All right, I'm gonna keep going here. So these are it says project library, these are the assets. If I wanted to use a photo next, let's just say that made sense at this point. You want to show a photo, you simply drag it down. It's in there. It has nothing to do with this whole thing, by the way. That happens to be at the Woodstock Museum in upstate New York. But you can go to this picture, and again, it's a 3-second duration. I can change that. Let's say, and these will give you can either customize it by staying a certain amount of time, or you can pick a duration. Let's just say 5, and then say change. Okay, now this is 5 seconds, and you can see that if you'll notice in this storyboard view here, that first title card is 3 seconds, 3.0. The edited clip of the woman saying in this picture is 2 seconds and 13, or almost 2.5 seconds. And then there's this photo. Now there's other things you can do with this photo, and I'll just do this real quickly. I think, let me see. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, go here. And then hit motion. You can all see this, it got bigger, I'm guessing, in your view.
Yes.
Like Rich was saying, I won't go into the whole thing, but you can put a little movement on this photo by saying zoom in center. You can choose how will happen, then you can say done. If you don't like the black bars on the side of the video, if it doesn't fit your screen completely, like some photos won't, you can change that. And let me just remember where that is. Filter, no, sorry. There's a way to do, maybe it's over here.
Just click on the photo.
Yeah, in the timeline or up top? Resize, sorry, resize, and then not shrink to fit, but remove black bars. Okay. Now that fills all of your screen. Thank you. Or I didn't see who said that because my screen is real big right now.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you bring it back to the beginning, and now you hit play again. So we have the video. I mean the title card.
This is a picture.
And then that. Okay. Now, you can keep doing this. Obviously, I think you might get the hang of it so far, but if you wanted another video clip, you can put it in, you can trim it, and let's play it to see where we go.
Now these are pictures of me and friends who traveled from the Bronx, New York to Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so I'm gonna trim the end a little bit. So where I've stopped, you just drag that little out point, a little editor, a little clipper here, and you say done. Now that's in there. If you wanted, again, this is not as sophisticated as iMovie. However, let's say this was our video at this point, and you wanted to put some music on it.
This is a picture.
Okay, so the whole thing is about 20 seconds. Obviously, your videos probably are going to be longer. And again, we're available to help you in any way. But in this particular program, you can choose background music. There's also a custom audio. For this purpose right now, I'll just put background music. And in the drop-down menu, there's things to choose here. I don't know. Let's say Digital Horizon. Let's see what that sounds like. And then you can change the volume of that music that will be heard under this entire video. Probably 100% is too much since she's talking. I'm going to do about 40% and see what that does. And then we'll play.
This is a picture. Now these were pictures of me and friends who traveled from the Bronx, New York to Los Angeles, California.
Now the nice thing about it, honestly, is, if you have a 2-minute video, that's going to play that music for 2 minutes, and it's going to figure out when to fade it out at the end. There's not a lot of other control with it, but it will figure out that stuff, those durations for you, and you really don't have to mess with the music too much. Again, iMovie is much more flexible, but I thought this was a way to at least give you some background, to at least kind of put your thoughts in order, whether it's a graphic in the beginning, like we did, like I just did. And again, those are customizable. You can do different things with those. And then some interview clips, a photo with a little movement on it, which makes it nice. And then back to another video clip.
Kevin, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
You said the background music. Can you pick the music that you want, or do they give you a certain amount of music to pick?
No, you can. And I'll give you one caveat also. So just for now, let me go back to this tab that says background music. And again, these are canned pieces of music with different moods that are there. I'm going to say none. I'm going to remove it, then say done. The reason being, as you're building your video, when you use their version or their pieces of music, if you added another clip to the timeline here, or the storyboard, it doesn't know to keep doing the music, so you kind of have to do the music last, which it doesn't make a lot of sense. But to answer your specific question, yeah, there's a custom audio tab here, and you add the audio file in there and then hit done. It's much like, I'm just gonna hit done, but you can drag audio into, let me see if I can do that. So I believe there's this piece. I thought I could drag, hang on, sorry. Maybe it was, why is this not dragging? I guess add, I don't know if that should be dragging, but if you add it, so you click on add, and then that folder that I've been taking clips from and other things, it already has some music in there as an example. I think it matters, but there's a way, whatever, just put it in that folder and then you'll be able to do it. This is going to be really loud, so let me just turn this down for a second. Okay. What I'm not 100% sure on, because this program is new to me as well, to be very frank with you, I'm not sure how to make that, to put that under this whole duration. I can research that and get back to you, but I can only do it with the background music at this point. Okay. In other words, well, let me try, because although this, for some reason, okay, so. There's the piece. Oh, I see. So I guess you have to do that. So did you see where this music was? In our 20-second video that we've built so far, with the black and white graphic in the beginning, the soundbite of this lovely woman, Irma, and then the peace American flag, and then another clip of Irma. For some reason, it puts when I just chose that new piece of music that, I don't know, was Gail, did you? I don't know who asked the question about music.
Oh, Rita.
I'm sorry. I don't have all my squares open over here. It puts it right after that last thing. So if you wanted to bring that in the beginning, if you can see my storyboard timeline here, you bring that to the beginning of it and then drag it to the 20 seconds. Now it actually is under there. Maybe I do know how to do this. So let's see if that's really from the beginning, that music. Okay, so it is there.
This is a picture.
Now, if you felt like that audio was...
Okay, so I'm just going to stop it here. Again, this was Kevin's explanation of how to use the editing software that comes on PCs. And we have the full video of Rich explaining how to use iMovie and Kevin explaining how to use PC on our YouTube channel. And I will be sure to link that full video for you when I send our recording of this lesson, in case you want a refresher from there. So does anyone have any questions right now regarding video editing at all? You can unmute yourselves if you have a question.
Amanda, so I've been playing around with Video Editor and actually talked to Kevin at one point. But I'm a little confused about one thing that is a little beyond anything I know. So Nefertari and I are going to be shooting video, but we want to intersperse potentially some photos and or slides while we're talking. Does that mean that we have to take the audio, and how would we then put the photo or the slide over that? Like, we would show ourselves in the beginning. Let's say we're talking for a minute, like 10 seconds, people would see us, but then the remaining 50 seconds, let's say we want to put some pictures up. What would be the best way to do that?
So I would know how to give you the instructions for that in iMovie.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually very easy in iMovie. You're able to record your own voiceover. And I would be shocked if the editing software for PCs don't have something like that.
It must have, right?
Yeah. So in that case, you would have either your headphones here, they might have I'm assuming they have a speaker in them. So you could have your headphones in and you would say your voiceover in the speaker as you're watching the photos kind of come up in your edited video. You can record a voiceover. Or you can use, obviously all of your computers will have some sort of microphone in them. you can use your computer microphone. For the previous Just the Basics video production lesson that I taught 2 weeks ago, my voiceovers were done just using my computer's microphone, and I thought it came out pretty good. But I would say I can see if I can find some videos on that on YouTube, or I would say reach out. Maybe Kevin would know. Maybe he's a little more attuned to that program at this point. But I would be surprised if there wasn't that option in this PC editing software as well. But that would just be a simple voiceover where I would suggest you edit the video together. You put the photos in that you want to put in.
Yeah.
And then you can play that video back while recording yourself talking. And then you can put that audio into the edited video, and your voiceover will play as the photos are showing up. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we were kind of thinking of recording from a Zoom and having that footage and then going back and adding but it sounds like maybe that's the wrong order. But
I mean, you can do whatever order works for you.
Yeah.
The only reason I say edit the video first and then do the voiceover is you may not know the timing of which these photos are going to be playing.
Right.
So if you're talking like a long amount about maybe one photo, you want to be able to make sure you're talking about that photo as the photo is on the screen, as opposed to continuing to talk about one photo while 3 other photos are cycling through. And you can also change the duration of how long your photos stay on the screen, like Kevin said before.
Right.
So really, you can do whatever order works best for you, and how the process of you guys creating the video is, because that may be your only option to kind of do it the way you were initially thinking. So it's possible you can definitely do it that way. I was just saying it's a little easier to have your video edited and then do your voiceover.
Yeah, do a voiceover. Okay, well, that's good to know. And I can reach out to him again because he was very helpful the first time I reached out. So
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Does anyone else have any questions on PC editing or iMovie editing? If not, we can go ahead into how to upload your videos to YouTube. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so when you log into, well, first of all, you're gonna need a YouTube account. It's free to sign up. You can use, I think YouTube may have you use a Gmail account to sign up. I think they must have some sort of partnership with Gmail. So I think you may need a Gmail account to sign up for YouTube, but it's free. You don't have to pay for it. So you're able to kind of sign up at your leisure, and then you can edit whatever, you can upload whatever videos you would like. So I'm just gonna edit a little bit of my screen here so you can see my desktop. So when you log in, right now I'm on the Share Cancer Support YouTube channel. Up at the top right here, you're gonna see this little video icon. It says create with a little plus button. You're gonna click that. You can either go live on YouTube if you'd like, or you can upload your pre-made video. So I'm gonna select upload video. We'll load for a second. And then you're gonna see something like this where it says drag and drop your files to upload. So again, this is where I say the easiest way to do this is to save your video file on your desktop somewhere it's really easy to get to. Or you can select files here if you have it saved in a certain folder somewhere. But I'm going to drag and drop because I have my video here that let's say I want to upload. So I'm going to drag it. I'm going to drop it. You'll see that YouTube gives you this nice graphic, shows you that it's uploading. Then you're going to have your custom options here. Your title obviously is required. So this is, for all intents and purposes, this is just a video of our At a Loss Living with NBC program. So I'm going to keep the same title that I had for the video file, but you can also change this to say anything. So if you just wanted to say, NBC program, you can say that, or you can say my edited video, whatever kind of title you want to give it, that's up to you. Then your description would go here. And you can talk about what your video is. So you can say, you know, I think this is Victoria Goldberg, Deb Hackenberry. I'm not sure what the other woman's name, I apologize, but you can say, you can type in kind of whatever you want, have a conversation about loss and metastatic breast cancer. So if this is kind of what you want to have as your description, you can keep it like this. You're going to scroll down. If you have a longer video, I think this video is fairly long, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. YouTube is going to take a little bit longer to process these videos. If you have a short video, 2 or 3 minutes, you might find that your thumbnails are going to show up a little bit sooner. But you can always skip this step and then come back and edit your thumbnail. You can also upload your own thumbnail. So if you want to go into a program like Canva, which is what I use to do a lot of our graphics here at Share, that's a really easy free program you can use to make a nice thumbnail image. So you can always upload your own thumbnail, or you can pick one of the thumbnails that's auto-generated by YouTube. But right now it's processing this video because it's rather long, so it may take a little bit longer. Playlists is an option in YouTube where you're able to file videos that have a same topic, general topic. So if you had a playlist in here, if I wanted to create like an NBC playlist, and then I can make that public, private, or unlisted. We'll go over what public and private and unlisted are in a moment. So if I wanted to create a playlist where I would just add videos about metastatic breast cancer, I could. You don't have to pick a playlist. You can just upload your videos. YouTube also now has this required section where you have to write what your audience is. So saying no, this is not made for kids doesn't mean that this is a violent or X-rated video. It just means that children who are watching YouTube Kids won't come across this video. I normally say no, this video is not made for kids because you know, our videos really at Share are not made with children in mind. That doesn't mean that YouTube will do anything bad to the video. It's just the audience is not geared towards children. You have more options here. Paid promotion. This is really for people who work YouTube full time and do advertisements in their YouTube videos. But your tags are kind of what we had discussed earlier in our last section, which is hashtags. So if this was something, you know, you wanted to add hashtags for, if you want to make this video really easy for people to find on YouTube, you can do metastatic breast cancer, comma, breast cancer, comma, loss, comma. So you're able to take words that have to do with what your video is about. And so if someone was looking up metastatic breast cancer, if you have metastatic breast cancer as your tag here, that means your video might be easier for someone to find. Language subtitles and closed captions. I don't think we're really going to have a lot of that stuff. All of this other stuff is really fine. We have nonprofit and activism, which is what our videos are mostly about. But there's a whole list of genres you can name this video under. So you don't have to do any of these extra custom options either. You can kind of just go ahead and click next. This is another thing that most people do if they do video YouTube full time. You can add an end screen, add cards. Don't worry about this. It's not gonna make your video any more popular or any less popular. I just skipped this completely. It's a little confusing. It's not really made for the kind of content we'll be uploading for YouTube. So I click next. I just completely disregard it. And then we come over here to our visibility. So your visibility on YouTube is set for 3 options. Your private option, like it explains here, is only you and people you choose can watch this video. So if you want to put your video on private, that usually means that you don't want people on YouTube searching in a search bar and finding your video. And that's totally fine. If you put your video on private and upload it to YouTube, you're able to specifically share it with certain people who can then see that video specifically because you shared it with them. Unlisted is another option where if you don't want this video to come up, if someone is searching something on YouTube and you don't want your video to come up for random people, you just want to share it with certain people. Unlisted is something you can do where anyone with the video link can watch your video. So unlike private where you have to invite people to watch your video, Unlisted will give you the link to share with people. And then those people you share that link with can share that link with other people and other people and other people. So you really can't control who sees your video, because if you give your link to your friend and your friend gives that link to her mom or her sister or her neighbor, those people can then see that video as well, but they wouldn't be able to search for it on YouTube. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions? I know those two can kind of be a little confusing. Okay, great. And then obviously public, just as it sounds, everyone can watch your video. If someone was looking up NBC, they could find this video on YouTube. If they were looking at it through Google, they could find this video. You can also set as instant premiere. I wouldn't really do this. It just kind of, this is again more for people who do YouTube full-time as their jobs. If they want to premiere their video, it gives you like a countdown. It opens a chat for people to kind of talk about things. I don't normally do this. You can just set it right to public if you just want it to be available for anyone. Unlisted if you want it to share the link with people and you want other people to be able to share that link with their family and friends. And private if you only want a certain number of people to see your video. You can schedule it to make it go live on a certain day. So if you had everything kind of set and ready to go and you wanted it to post next week, you could choose what day you want it to go out and what time. Make sure you're in your proper time zone. These are just some overall here. Do kids appear in this video? If there were minors in this video, you have to make sure that you have consent to record them. And then you can go ahead. I have it scheduled, so it would say schedule. Normally I don't schedule. I just publish right to public. And then you can go ahead and you can click publish. I'm not going to publish it right now just because this video needs some editing. But that's kind of how you can really easily just upload your video to YouTube, make it private or unlisted or public, and you can share that with anyone you want. So that makes sense to everyone. That sounds good. Thumbs up, everyone. Okay, great. Again, you can always unmute yourselves if you have a question, and we can go over that. Again, I had this open for anyone who kind of needed a little bit of a deeper understanding of what unlisted versus private meant. Again, unlisted is you can share that link to your video with anyone, but anyone with that link can also share that video with anyone they want. Private means you have to invite people to watch the video. People who are not invited can't access the video. You have to invite them to find your video.
Oh, do we have another lesson coming up or no?
No, this is going to be the last one. I know we're a little over. I was
a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't understand how to create an account, and I don't understand what the account I create that would be mine has to do with the share account.
So I was just showing you from the share account as an example. When you create your own account, it's just yours. It won't have anything to do with share's account.
Oh, I see.
It'll just be your account under your email address. So
where do I go to create my account?
I think, like I said before, I think you have to go through Gmail, which is the email service through Google.
Yeah.
You can
I have Gmail. I don't.
Oh, okay, perfect. So then
where do I don't know where to go.
YouTube.
Yeah, you would just go to YouTube and you can sign up. It'll prompt you and say if you want to sign up or sign in. You would click sign up. Let me see if I sign out.
I go to YouTube all the time and I don't have an account. I'm
yeah, you don't need an account on YouTube to use YouTube, but to upload a video, you would need an account.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can log out, and then let's see if I can show you how it'll prompt you to sign up or sign in to YouTube.
The video that I'm working on would be, is one I'm making for share.
Yeah.
In my mind. So I wouldn't, if I uploaded it to my account, it wouldn't be on share's account, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
We can always share the video, but it would not be on our account. It would still be on your account.
I see.
And then on your account, you're able to set your settings if you don't want certain people to see it, like I just showed. Or you can totally make it public. That's really up to you. But then that would be on your account. It would not be on shares.
Amanda, I have a question.
Yeah.
For you and Jill. So let's say somebody is making a video and it's a share related video. You and Jill don't want to see it before it's put on YouTube?
I mean, yes, I would think, I don't know if Jill is still here. She may have jumped.
Yeah.
I'm here. Good point, Andrea. But I think there's also a difference between, from my perspective, there's a difference between videos that are on our official YouTube channel and videos that people are producing on their own. But, you know, good point. And yes, we would, if it's a video that's being used in a professional share capacity, we would love to see it, and we'll figure out how to communicate that with everyone.
Right. Okay.
Thank you. Good point.
Yes, great questions as always, Andrea. Okay, so here's how it looks when I'm signed out of YouTube. So because I have my Gmail, I'm using Google Chrome, which is just another internet browser that you can use as opposed to a ton of other different ones. Because I'm hooked up to Gmail, it's gonna say sign in.
Where? I'm sorry. How did you get there?
This is just youtube.com. So you can go ahead if you want to follow along with me, or if anyone.
Oh, up here is sign in.
Yeah. So then you would click this and you would be able to make an account.
I see.
If you have you said you have a Gmail, right?
I have Gmail, yeah.
Perfect. So then it'll automatically pick up that you have a Gmail account, and you would create your YouTube account using your Gmail email.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, of course. I know it can be a little confusing. There's so many different types of technology. It's almost kind of funny. But quickly, I know we're a little bit over. Quickly, I just wanted to go over with you guys some best practices for posting on social media.
So Amanda, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in my process of trying to hook up my video, I've done a video already, and I sent it to the powers that be, you know, the two gentlemen. But you know, I had gotten something from one of the people that I did presentations with, and they wanted to know if I can do a Zoom situation with them, you know, do something with them for the month of September on Zoom. So I'm saying if I need questions and need help, we having another segment here for questions and answers, you know, as we go back to do what you have went over, and we're trying to set up our you know, our Zoom and our, you know, trying to set the program up. Are we going to have another session?
So for this, we're not going to have another session. The videos and just the basics lessons are always available on Share's YouTube.
Okay.
And I link them. I've sent an email out to everyone with the link to find them. You can.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, you can always reach back out to me, and I will always send it back to you. If you can't find it, I can always relink you.
Okay.
But those videos are up on our YouTube channel. They can be accessed at any time, and they're really there in case you forget a step, you're a little confused. You can always redirect back to those videos to help you out. If you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me and Jill, and we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. But yeah,
I know you mostly have a iPhone, iMac, or whatever, but I don't have an iMac. And I have a what you call it, regular PC, and plus I have a Chromebook. So that's why I was saying that, you know, it's a little different from what you were saying today. So as far as when you want to show you know, when you want to show you know, put different pictures and stuff on when you're talking to them, well, you know, diagrams. When you're talking to someone, you want to show diagrams. It's a little different from what you were doing today because you're doing it on a Mac.
Right.
But doing it on another PC is a little different. So that's where the questions might come in for me, you know.
Yeah, and I will do my best to hopefully maybe redirect you to someone who can answer those questions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I haven't used a PC in a very long time. So I'm a little PC inept because I don't really know the programs that well because I've been using Macs for so long. And I've been using iPhones and things for so long.
Right.
So, but you know,
well, we also have Roundtable as a resource. We actually pay Roundtable to help us with tech questions, and we run into many that they can help us with and some that they can't. But because they have capabilities with some platforms and not with others. Like Constant Contact is not one they can help us with. But I would I'm guessing, but I would imagine that you know, setting up some of these programs with a PC is something that they might be able to help with. We can certainly check.
And Roundtable is really, really great. They can slow it down for you, really take it step by step with you. They're very, very great resource that we have. So we can always, if we can't answer your question, we can always we can see if we can put you in touch with someone from Roundtable.
Okay, thank you.
They'll go through it with you.
No, all right, no problem.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. And then, okay, so quickly, I just wanted to go over social media. We're just going to go over the big three, which are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. These would be the three resources that I would recommend you sharing your videos on if you want. You do not have to, but if you want to. So first, we're going to go over Facebook. Facebook is a really great tool because, I mean, you know, even with the backlash, of course, with the big tech companies and Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook really brings communities together. You can join Facebook groups with people who live in your area, who may have similar interests as you, who watch the same TV shows as you. And there's so many ways to really become part of a lot of different communities. And that's where Facebook really shines. So Facebook is a really great resource to also share videos on because it's really great content and people are really engaged with videos, especially on Facebook. So that's why I think that it would be a really great resource for you guys to share your videos on. I quickly wanted to go over, I know hashtags were a question before. And so I quickly just wanted to go over using hashtags on Facebook. Using hashtags on Facebook aren't as popular, I'd say, as using them on Twitter or Instagram, but you can absolutely use hashtags to really specify your content. So this is an example of a post that I shared on the Share Cancer Support Facebook page. This is for Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. We're doing a campaign called I Wish I Knew. So I say use hashtag I wish I knew. You'll see that it's highlighted in blue. It's clickable. You see the little mouse here. And I also have Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month and hashtag ovarian cancer. So if I wanted to see what other posts are using this I wish I knew hashtag, I would click on this hashtag, and then you can explore all of the content that has that hashtag I wish I knew. This is a great way if you're looking for something specific and you want to see kind of what other content is out there that's using that hashtag. If you wanted to look at, you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who, you know, God bless her soul. If you wanted to see the content about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you can. If you wanted to look up flowers, you could look up flowers and you could see all of the content on Facebook that has to do about flowers. That's a lighter, happier topic. But it's a great way to really identify your content with people who might be looking for that exact content. So if you were making a video on metastatic breast cancer, I would suggest you use hashtag in your post like I did before. I'll go back. Let me see if I can find that specific post. Okay. So in the body of your post, you would put those hashtags in to make sure that if people were looking for Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month or ovarian cancer, that they'd be able to find your video. Does that make sense to everyone? Does anyone have any questions? I know there was a chat pop up. So I'm just going to open up Zoom all the way. Oh, okay, that was just Olympia. So does that make sense to everyone? Hashtags, again, really great to use on YouTube video, on Facebook. Videos, really great to share on Facebook. Hashtags you can absolutely use on Facebook. So quickly, I'm just gonna go ahead over to Twitter. So Twitter is a great resource for sharing your news. Twitter moves very, very quickly. It keeps you up to date. It's mainly used for news-based content because news-based content is very quick. Things are updated very quickly. And now, of course, we have a 24-hour news cycle. So Twitter is mainly used for that up-to-the-minute information. But that doesn't mean that you can't share your content on here. But again, I wanted to show another example of using hashtags on Twitter. Twitter really is a really great way to use hashtags because, again, like Facebook, you're able to click on those hashtags. You can see what content is on there, and this content will get refreshed very quickly. So if you're looking for new engaging content that has to do with ovarian cancer, that has to do with I wish I knew, any other kind of hashtag flowers, hashtag Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you're going to find a lot of content on Twitter, and you're going to find a lot of new content very quickly. So like we went over uploading all of our content to Twitter and Facebook last session, so you can always go back there if you need a refresher on how to upload your videos here. But you can absolutely add your hashtags on Twitter. So again, if you were doing a video on metastatic breast cancer, I would suggest using hashtag metastatic breast cancer, hashtag NBC, hashtag BCSM, which is breast cancer social media. That's a really popular hashtag with a lot of people talking about breast cancer. And GYNC-SM is the equivalent for gynecologic cancers. So if you click on here, you're going to find a lot of really great information on gynecologic cancers. So I like to use that hashtag if I'm talking about ovarian cancer or uterine cancer, etc. That makes sense to everyone? Does anyone have any questions? Okay. And then finally, I'm going to go over Instagram. Instagram is my favorite form of social media. It's a really great way to express yourself creatively. If you wanted to post your pictures, you could post photography, you can post video on there. Unfortunately, you can't post your content from your computer. You can only really kind of look through your timeline. You can like people's posts on here, but you can't upload anything from your computer. So you're gonna have to get the app on your iPhone or your Android, or that's accessible in any kind of smartphone that you have. But hashtags, again, on Instagram are really, really useful because, like Facebook and Twitter, it helps organize your content for people to find and really makes it easy for people who want to find that specific content. So again, I'll go to this post here. You can put your hashtags right in your caption here. So like I have I wish I knew here. You can also add them as a comment if you don't want to add all of these hashtags in your caption here. Both work equally. But again, I have cancer, cancer support, cancer research, cancer treatment, ovarian cancer, gynecologic cancer, etc. So once again, if I wanted to see I wish I knew, you can find all of the content that uses that hashtag. It may not move as quickly as Twitter, and Instagram doesn't really organize it in time order. So you may be finding posts that are from a few months ago, even a few years ago. But I still think it's really, really useful tool to use your hashtags on here. And you can upload your content on here too. So those are just kind of 3 really easy social media accounts that you can upload your content onto. And yes, Andrea is correct. Facebook does own Instagram. So if you really want to stay away from evil Mark Zuckerberg, know that Instagram is owned by Facebook. But it does operate different than Facebook does, and it does have advantages that you may not be able to find on Facebook. But yeah, so those are the big 3, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are the main social media platforms that you could share your content on, along with YouTube. So does that sound good to everyone? If you have any questions, you can shout them out. Okay, great. So, and you know, if you stumble across and you find you have a question later on, you can always email me, and I will do my best to get this recording out to you guys as quickly as possible. But thank you guys so much for joining us for the Just the Basics classes. I hope they were helpful.